Lime. Duh. But
Yep.
first list of 2020, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The first list I'm going to do is the best female wrestlers of 2020 list.
Wow.
Okay.
How about that?
I like this.
How about that? So this
about
is. How about that? How about that? Okay. So I'm gonna go for and by the way, you guys feel free to push back. Feel free to I'll start from the honorable mention slot. People who didn't make the
okay.
top 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's 10?
There's 10.
Wow.
These are top 10
Okay.
lists. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Best, I don't know. What do you say? Best wrestlers who happen to be women. What's the most progressive way to say this? Best
Female wrestlers.
Okay, fine. Great. In the honorable mention slot, I'm going to go with, I put Shotzi Blackheart in the honorable mention slot, okay?
I
She
like
didn't
that.
really do enough this year for me to really get her in that top 10, but I feel like she had a breakout year over on NXT. She hosted Halloween Havoc successfully. The flavor of a Shotzi as a character is starting to emerge, and it's moving at a nice pace as well, where she's not being kind of jammed down our throats by Triple H. I feel like they're letting her breathe, and I'm expecting a big 2021. So I'd like to give her nice setup for her 2021 year of dominance over at NXT.
Love that. What a
Yeah,
great.
she's on
what
the 2021 watch list.
Couldn't agree more.
Ones to watch.
All right, my second honorable mention for the best female wrestlers of 2020 goes to another woman of NXT. Not surprising, the women of NXT have had quite the year. I would give Candice LeRae an honorable mention for being dubbed the Queen of War Games, specifically. 2 War Games wins in a row as captain, giving the War Games female match the stakes that I'm looking for as a man who struggles to care about War Games except for the flavor of it, which is that it's cool to have 2 rings and big spots, to care about the grill, throwing some steaks on it. Candice is now inherently has some stakes on it, so I give her props. Also, I'll give her props for her cosplay is not as egregious as some of the other cosplays. I don't really know a lot of the references she's doing. It almost feels
So
like
that's why.
yeah. So it's almost sneaky enough where it gets past me. What do you guys think?
I like Candice LeRae. Always liked her.
2 honorable mentions. All right, let's get
Yeah.
into the top 10 list.
I just found Candice and Johnny Gargano on Peloton, so I'm following them on
Oh,
their
really?
workouts now.
Nice.
Yeah.
They
gotta
feel
get
like a
myself a
Peloton
Peloton.
couple, a little power Peloton
Yeah,
couple.
I did a ride with Johnny Gargano the other day.
Really? Wow.
Did you beat him?
With Alex Toussaint. No, I looked at his output,
Yeah.
what he does every class, and it's 100 more than I even get
Damn.
close to. He's
Johnny's
killing
getting
it.
in.
Right. All right. At number 10, gotta give it up. I put her in the 10 spot to
I know who
Becky
this is
Lynch. I put in the 10
Oh,
spot.
really? Yeah.
Now, she's been out a lot of the year, but you cannot deny
Right.
Becky Lynch, who, first off, her moment of revealing that she was going to be a mother was one of the greatest moments of a
great
very
point.
dark year,
Yeah. And
no-
also, that came right after a very grim Money in the Bank situation. So
Right.
the payoff there made it worth it.
Right. And
I love her.
and I think that I think that also she retained at WrestleMania, right? She
I
had,
didn't
and
know
that was
that.
then when she gave up the title, which she didn't actually lose. She had the longest run with that title, right? So, just even though Becky Lynch, and then also gave birth to probably
Seth
the
Rollins,
future
baby.
best female champion of all time, little Rue Rollins. So I just think Becky, somehow even Becky steals the show in maternity,
Right.
her pictures were a big deal. And to me, Becky Lynch is still the best female wrestler. She's number 1 by far. It's not even close for me personally.
Yeah,
So
she's my favorite.
yeah, where are you guys at?
Think
on
about what it's going to be like when she comes back. That's how much he knows. That everybody's kind of like on the edge of their seat for when it's gonna happen. Will it be Rumble? Will it be Mania? Whenever it is, SummerSlam. It can take a whole
It's
nother
gonna
year.
be a while.
But when it
I think
happens,
it's gonna be a while.
when it happens, it's gonna be fucking magical.
Well, because
and
do
I
we
hope there's a
even
live
honestly
crowd for it.
have a? We do. We have Lacey Evans has a kid, you know, but we haven't seen one of the modern women wrestlers go through childbirth and come back. You know,
Right.
and that is a big deal. You know, and Becky, I think Becky's Becky. She's great. You know,
Yeah.
So I'm putting her
yeah.
at number 10, just because her year was cut short. But to even be on this list, I think is pretty impressive. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
All right. That's number 10. Number 9. Number 9, I put Charlotte Flair, who was also not around for a lot
Yeah,
of
she
the
has
year.
like the opposite of Becky Lynch. Like
Right.
they were both here for a little bit of time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's odd, but remember, Charlotte won the Royal Rumble this year and won the women's tag titles this year.
and
Even
and,
bu-
and the NXT title.
and the NXT title. She still shadily had a good year, even though it was not that memorable because she was gone for a big chunk, you know?
Yep.
So, but still, Charlotte, I put her in the 9 spot. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. The only argument you might have is that since she won the Rumble, maybe she should go even lower, maybe, because she did also beat Rhea at Mania. But when it came down to it, I had to put Becky and Charlotte at 9 and 10 because of the amount of absence for the year.
I
Fair
think
enough.
That's fair.
Okay. Number 8, Shayna Baszler. I put her
Wow.
in 8.
Nice.
Now, this list is objective. I'm not.
It's an objective list.
She's
yes,
not one of my
Dan's
guys.
Top
Shayna
10
Baszler.
faves.
No, she's not one of my guys, and I would argue in many ways did not fully grab the brass ring here. I think if you look, you can look at this one of two ways. She's on the top 10 list, or you can look at it in the light of she should have been number 2 or something. You know what I mean? That's up to you, really. You know?
Yeah.
But she did get to wrestle Becky at WrestleMania.
She got the biter too.
She got to bite her. She got to win the Elimination Chamber, right? Tulo was there, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was.
That was this year. That was this year.
Wow. Oh man.
That's
March.
crazy.
Right.
End of March. Oh, I should not have been there.
Right?
Oh my God, that was at the end of March?
Yeah. We were
And then she won the
surrounded.
tag titles this year.
She had a
decent
really
year.
good showing in the Royal Rumble too.
Yeah, she had a decent year. Man, I just realized I messed up. I got to add something to. I'm going back to honorable mention. Okay?
Okay.
I'm adding Bianca Belair to my honorable mentions list because I did not put her on my list. Okay?
No, I think she definitely has a place at least in the honorable mention.
Because of her performance in the Royal Rumble this year.
Yes.
I think after that, she kind of fell off. Just purely booking, I think she deserves it, and I think actually she's coming back now. Because Charlotte's a big fan of Bianca Belair. We know that.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're starting to have a program going, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's going to be her breakout moment. But I think she deserves honorable mention for her Royal Rumble performance, and I think she deserves better booking. Okay, so
it's coming.
yeah.
I think there's no denying her right now. She's in the anti-vaping commercials too. Which hey, listen.
Yeah.
If Bianca's telling you not to vape, you might.
I'm not afraid of her.
But yeah,
Aaron?
she's all over. Mega talent, makes her own gear. She's got it all. The hair, the ponytail is incredible.
Yeah.
Big
She's got a
Bianca
great
Belair.
attitude.
She deserves to be in the top 10. I'll give you. I understand why she isn't, but I think everything she's done up until this point only shows her.
Well,
She's another
incredible
one who's on the
potential.
watch
When the
list
list
for
is done-
2021.
Right. Exactly.
I will
Which
tell
just
you
seems-
my thing.
Well, I'll say when I tell you the whole list, you could say
Yeah,
who you
no,
would
no,
have
I
bumped.
no, I
because it's
completely
actually
agree.
harder than you think.
No, yeah, I know, and I so far have
That was
agreed
a little
with your
bit of a
list. And
Trump
you've
tone there.
harder than you
Dan.
think. I think
A
Bianca
little trumpy?
Belair.
Did I get a little trumpy?
Yeah,
Listen,
a little
many
bit.
people
It's
are
harder than
saying
you think.
It's harder than you
She's
think.
two spots where I think she'd.
My Trump
I
list is
would,
gone
I would
from,
love to see Bianca win the
COVID.
Royal Rumble because she had such an awesome showing last year, and I think
Yeah.
her versus Sasha at WrestleMania is mega bucks.
Yeah.
And then or Money in the Bank, which because they need to really bring that back and make it relevant because it's been weird. Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
so.
I like I said about the thing with Money in the Bank, I believe that Vince is creatively bored of the Money in the Bank. That's my whole theory about the Money in the Bank. So okay,
I will say Bianca Belair deserves to wrestle at WrestleMania this year. That's my thing to say about her. She should be someone that is displayed to the world on a constant basis because that's how amazing she is.
Okay.
So put her at WrestleMania. I hope that's where she is.
Okay, we'll put her in the Performance Center for WrestleMania. All right. She could be one. I'm seeing right
Thunderdome.
here. Vince is booking her right now as a COVID compliance officer. Yeah, on set there. I can't control that. That's Anyway, so all right. So that is my number 8 was Shayna Baszler, right? Who? Yeah. Okay. My number 7, I went to Rhea Ripley.
Nice.
Also wrestled Charlotte at WrestleMania, came up short as well. Had some killer matches this year. She was gone for a little bit of the year for COVID, like she was in Australia, I think. Yeah, Rhea Ripley has just had another year of becoming a star in WWE. I feel like she figured out her look as well. Like the eyebrow thing, I think is really cool.
Sick.
That looks like kind of like a saber slash, you know. I think that she's just becoming a bigger star. Like her profile rise. I think also her losing to Charlotte adds nice story to her. They cut great packages with her of her talking about like how like Mania was a big letdown, you know? Like that's great storytelling for her that I dig. And then her feud with Raquel Gonzalez, that's her name, right? Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, it's tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big match
was pretty fun
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
and fun to watch. Yeah. So Rhea Ripley, I mean, no surprise. My expectations for Rhea Ripley is that she goes way lower on this list in 2021. You know,
Yeah.
as she comes up to the main
that-
roster.
That could be.
Okay, my number 6 female wrestler of 2020 is Io Shirai.
Great.
Had a dominant run.
One of my guys.
Had a bunch of great matches in NXT. No surprise. We've been mentioning a lot. All these wrestlers actually I've mentioned have been in NXT, including, I believe, Becky even wrestled in NXT a little bit at the beginning of the year, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, Io Shirai, I mean, just great matches. Great. I love all the promos underwater, all the packages she was doing underwater. Those were dope. And then the In Your House match is the match that sticks out for me the most this year, because I believe she jumped off the roof, right? Which is iconic.
She's had
but
a lot of spots, yeah, this year.
yeah, she had that ladder match.
The garbage can
recently,
spot off the top
the
of War
garbage
Games.
can spot off of the War Games.
She's insane,
delivered
man.
as champ.
Her,
no
her
question.
poppy entrances,
Poppy
her
entrance.
her
Poppy
entrance, her
entrance.
gear, truly, just
Were the poppy entrances this year?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, she's delivered.
Feels like forever ago.
She's a massive star.
All right, my number 5 female wrestler of the year, guys. So that's what is Alexa Bliss for her work with the Fiend.
Yeah.
Now,
He goes.
well,
I mean,
here's
come
where
on.
you could get. Here's where this gets kind of controversial because I don't even remember Alexa wrestling a match in 2020. But I find it to be irrelevant because her work with Fiend was great, you know? And actually was one of her most effective years for me personally. I think she killed it, you know?
Yeah. She's
So-
in like an acting role.
Yeah.
now, and not a, and she's a great actor.
I mean,
And I think she was wrestling this year though with Naki, right?
yeah, they were
So-
tag team
Yeah.
champs.
Yeah.
And I think that her role, like, I think the women's division suffers from like the captivating in terms of story a lot of the times because first off, it's not all their fault. First off, this is the reason I separate these lists as women and men is in wrestling it doesn't matter that much, but the TV time makes it completely unfair. You know,
That's
the men
true.
get so much more TV time. So it's like if I made a list, it's going to be way more men, you know? So
Right.
that's a big reason I was like, when I was thinking about this, why, because I started it as the list and I started realizing like it's until they're getting equal TV time, then we
I
can
would-
talk about it.
I
you know?
would even say that everybody on your list so far is on TV every single week. Literally.
Yeah.
Like every single woman that's in this top 10 has, especially in NXT. They main event NXT every week. Yeah. So it's like I think this is a great way to display it is because
Right.
they are literally on TV every single week, these women. It's crazy. It's awesome. I love it.
All right, so Alexa Bliss, no surprise there. Killer year.
Poured gasoline
right?
on herself. I was
Yeah.
screaming last night.
Oh my God!
It's like pour
Did you see that swampy meme?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God!
Come
I was like,
on, you
listen,
guys.
can we talk about that for a
I'm just
second?
waiting for someone to flag it. Yeah.
I was like, yo, I agree. This is swampy, but
Yeah.
this is funny. This is
Enough
funny.
people commented and were like, "This is swamp," but
What did it say?
LOL.
So
What does that say about that person? I'm trying to
it
figure
was
out.
basically like, "I know Randy Orton's hot, but,
but this is excessive.
this is
Yo, come on,
excessive.
that's funny. Because Randy Orton,
I appreciated it,
it's definitely disgusting.
but no one flagged it, so it stays."
I had no problem with it. Ooh, got a little COVID cough coming through.
Yeah, yeah.
It just is funny. It is funny. It's just some things are gross and funny. You know, they don't. You know,
And
Um,
Randy Orton is hot, so
yeah. And we talk about that a lot, so it's kind of on
Yeah.
game for the pot.
exactly.
Anyway, Alexa Bliss, number 5. My number
Okay.
4 goes to Bailey.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had a feeling she was gonna be in the top 5.
Bailey,
Don't like her.
longest
but
running SmackDown
get it.
champion, right? Bailey had two. She retained the title at Mania at WrestleMania, right? This year?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah,
Top three?
she retained
I was trying to think
the
about his
title
top
this year with the help of Sasha. She retained the title. She had the longest running SmackDown champion in history. And I feel like people talked about Bailey a shit ton. That's my main thing. Is that like whether you liked Bailey or not, if I think about this year of the Cow Facebook group, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, join Comedians Wrestling Facebook group. Talk about wrestling at 4 a.m. Join it. Great time. Bailey was causing a reaction, you know? And as
Yes.
wrestling fans, we're talking about heat. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I didn't love everything Bailey did. I don't think it all was clicking totally, but she was pissing people off in a way that, like, I think as I get more and more watching wrestling, you know, like it's more and more of like the less I start believing of like turn off the TV heat is even a thing, you know? Like, so I just feel like I'll give her props. I'm not a huge Bailey mark. I don't own any Bailey merch. I'm happy she's not the champion anymore.
Ding dong.
You know what I mean? But then she also had some killer matches. That Hell in the Cell match with Sasha
yeah.
was incredible. Yeah, she's number 4 for me. That's where I feel like the perfect spot for Bailey. You know?
Could argue that she could be number 1. Honestly, it's it's that kind of a year for her. She was.
Yeah.
She literally was. No, you have to think about no Charlotte, no Becky, right? So who is going to be left to carry and keep women's wrestling up there? And she was a big reason
Yeah.
for it. I mean,
There's an
literally.
argument to make her number 1.
And even to say she brought out the best version of Sasha. It was like when Sasha came back, it was like, and then when they started working together, it was like, wow, this works. Like, and now because of that, Sasha's even like way up top. So I 100% definitely, I would say top 3 for me, 100% Bailey. But I'm trying to run my who's left, and I'm interested to hear the rest.
Yeah. My number 3 is not a surprising one, but I think you guys might. We'll see what you say. My number 3 female superstar the female wrestler of the year, specifically not a superstar, is Britt Baker.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
knew it. I knew it. Yes. Yeah. I was
gonna
waiting
say.
for her, and then when she wasn't in like 10 through 5, I was like, okay, so she's towards the top.
Well, I'm trying to figure out because he was saying about how much Charlotte and Becky miss. I'm like, Britt Baker barely wrestled, so there's no way she's still in this list. And I was gonna be like, yo,
I
we should
knew
make
it.
Britt Baker an honorable mention because she didn't really wrestle.
Britt
I was like,
Baker, I put it number 3. Britt Baker, I think, is was some of the most captivating, fun shit on AEW.
Yeah.
I think that she really turned people's heads, really found her fucking groove. And I think, like, people were talking about it. I literally considered buying her blood thing. She had the moment where, what was the match? The match was Gargano. Think about this. Ciampa Gargano were wrestling on NXT this year in that, like, parking lot brawl match or whatever. Right? And Britt Baker was wrestling
Was it Sheeta?
Sheeta, and she started bleeding, and people in the Facebook group were kind of like, yo, I think I'm more into this Britt Baker match than a Ciampa Gargano match.
I'm going to go turn on AEW.
Yeah. She was bleeding. I feel like she was all the Tony Schiavone, Mr. Starbucks shit was great. All her promos were awesome. I thought her personality shined. She turned it around. When I thought about Britt Baker, I was like, I fucking love Britt Baker.
Yeah, me too. I love Britt Baker.
She rocks.
I said it. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was watching some clips
I have
and
no
stuff. I was
idea
like,
if she can wrestle.
Man,
by
I
the
gotta
way.
get some Britt Baker merch. I want the Dr. Baker that looks like the Bulls shirt. Like
I
or
like the
or
one with the bloody nose.
Yeah,
Like, she's like-
I gotta.
That one's
maybe I'll-
kind of nasty.
yeah, it is, but it's based in a real moment. That's her blood
I
from a
know.
Baker. Does it say blood from a Baker?
I don't know.
That's what it should say.
Can't picture it.
Anyway, yeah, Britt Baker. Yeah, the only match I remember she had two matches is the one with Big Swole and the
In the
dental
dentist
office.
office, yeah.
But every time she would rip on Reba or whatever, it was a good fucking time.
And her show on AEW Dark that I think they're getting ready to put on AEW.
oh,
Dynamite.
yeah, where they
Where
threw
the
the guy
dentist-
through. Who'd
yeah,
they
the
throw
dentist-
through a wall?
The fucking what's his name? Mohawk.
Oh, Sean Spears got thrown through the wall. Right?
Scorpio Sky. Sean Spears.
Yeah.
Love to
It's
see
great.
it.
Like, dude, I mean, there's always these are my lists. So
And
I
good
at
for
a
Reba,
high
too.
I put personality and
Yeah.
character it's a very high it's
I
why again, this is not just sports. It's not just about titles and blah blah blah. It's
Right.
about being
This
entertaining.
isn't like a point system here.
Right.
This is what you feel.
All right, my number 2 female wrestler of the year I gave to Asuka.
Love
Who I'm not a huge Asuka mark. I like Asuka. I don't love Asuka. But Asuka had a great year. She was the
Yeah.
champion. She got the she won the title. She kept like winning she had like 2 matches of pay-per-view. I mean, WWE fully got behind her. She did have my one moment of the year that she was cutting a promo with Sasha this year that I fucking hated, where she was like making it like very hard to work. As from an improv perspective, was very frustrating to watch. But ultimately, listen, you can't deny Asuka's year. She's essentially, you said Bailey, but honestly, I think Asuka's the face of the company for women when
Love that.
Becky and Charlotte were gone. And I think that's kind
Well,
of
yeah,
undeniable.
they literally handed it to her when the day Becky left.
It's true. Great. Point.
So, all that being said, the number 1 female wrestler of the year of 2020, I'm giving to
Let's go.
Sasha Banks. Okay, so look, I think that I don't know, maybe might surprise some of you. It's the old version.
I like the old version.
I like the old version more. It's better.
Boom,
But,
boom,
yo,
boom,
Sasha
boom,
Banks,
boom, boom.
listen, you're not going to be on Mandalorian and not be number 1 here. Like, she's the women's
Easy,
champion.
easy.
She's
Let's
on the
go.
fucking Mandalorian. She's successfully crossed over into not only mainstream, the number 1 show. Like, the number 1 show. Gave a spinning DDT to Boba Fett. Do you understand? She gave a swinging DDT to fucking one of, if not the most iconic Star Wars character. Definitely not the most iconic Star Wars character, but for the hardcore nerd, Mark, and is now part of the Disney Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
On top of that,
And also like a comeback, like to be on Mandalorian from having like a rough couple years is huge.
the long-term storytelling of Sasha not being able to retain, and then her dropping the title to Asuka in that one pay-per-view where both titles were on the line, and you started questioning that. That was great. And I think Sasha Banks' gear is just a constant. It's almost like I want to write Sasha Banks featuring her husband guy, because the Sasha is just looks like $1,000,000. She gets wrestling when it comes down to that, which is really important to me. Like when it comes down to like the look, she's always fresh. Like
Yep.
keeps it fucking tight. She looks like $1,000,000. She's a fucking babe. She's a powerhouse. I said she's one of the greatest almost talents of all time, Sasha Banks, because I do wish she could put a promo together that would truly dazzle me. But ultimately, Batista didn't do that. He never did that, and
That's
he's
fair.
still getting to that level. So Sasha Banks, I think, what a fucking year for Sasha. Oh, frankly, way overdue of a year, and the fact that they're riding her out as the champion, she's in Mandalorian. This was a no-brainer for me for number one.
Yeah.
No
You know?
brainer.
Yeah.
No
So
brainer.
I had Sasha Banks very high up on my list when I had these lists as co-ed for a second, and then I decided to just break them out. But yeah, Sasha Banks. Anyway, guys, what do you think of my list? Let me read it down so you can respond.
Yep.
Number 1, Sasha Banks. Number 2, Asuka. Number 3, Britt Baker. Number 4, Bailey. Number 5, Alexa Bliss. 6, Io Shirai. 7, Rhea Ripley. 8, Shayna Baszler. 9, Charlotte. 10, Becky. Honorable mentions, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, and Candice.
Yeah. I
Who
think
am I
it's a
missing?
good objective list because Becky and Charlotte, one might feel belong at the top of any list of
Right.
female wrestlers, but within the context of all that happened in 2020, I think they belong on the list, but it's fair to have them at the bottom.
Yeah.
I would,
Too low.
I would say, I mean, it's your list, so in a general, more regular list, Bailey would be in the top 3, and Britt Baker probably wouldn't even really just overall. But I
Right.
agree having Britt Baker up there because she deserves to be there. I also think at least an honorable mention should be given to Sheeta. I know that could be argued that she doesn't deserve to be on the list.
Yeah,
because
I would say
she really
Sheeta-
didn't make the women's title, but for the fact that she is the only one really getting TV time and the one that's out there, and the way they've just that's, I think, more booking than her being a talent, because she has put on a lot of really great matches, but obviously the storytelling is there. So I think that mentioned. But other than that, I agree with your list. I think it's a really great list. I really have no gripes with it whatsoever.